The atmospheric processors hummed their eternal song as Arya guided her son through the crowded marketplace of Station Kepler 442b. Xiphon's scales caught the artificial sunlight, refracting it into prismatic patterns that danced across the chrome storefronts. At 7 years old, he was still small for a Drakari, barely reaching his mother's shoulder, but his wings were already showing the deep crimson that marked their noble lineage. "Mother, can we get the neutrino ice cream?" Xiphon's bifurcated tongue flickered with excitement, tasting the synthetic flavors wafting from the vendor stalls. Arya's internal temperature regulators kicked in as she smiled, preventing the small puff of smoke that threatened to escape her nostrils. "After dinner, little flame. We have reservations at the Gravity Well." The Gravity Well occupied the station's central hub, where the rotation created perfect Earth-standard gravity, a concession to the station's predominantly human population. Arya had chosen it deliberately. 3 months since the treaty, 3 months since the Drakari and humans had formally ended 2 centuries of Cold War, and she was determined to raise Xiphon in this new era of peace. The restaurant's hostess, a human woman with cybernetic eyes that whirred softly, showed them to a table near the observation window. Beyond the transparent aluminum, the gas giant Kepler 442b rotated slowly, its storms captured in frozen beauty by the station's time dilation field. That's when Arya saw him. The human sat 3 tables away, his daughter clutching a worn, stuffed animal that Arya's enhanced vision identified as a Terran rabbit. The girl couldn't have been more than 6, her dark curls bouncing as she animatedly described something to her father. He listened with the patient attention Arya recognized, the look of a parent who had learned to find joy in the smallest moments because the larger ones had been taken away. She noticed the absence immediately. No wedding band, no partner. The particular weariness in his shoulders that spoke of doubled responsibilities. Arya had been there. She knew that weight. "Mother?" Xiphon tugged her sleeve. "You're staring." "Sorry, little flame." She turned back to the menu, but her attention kept drifting. The man was explaining something to his daughter, using his hands to demonstrate. Orbital mechanics, perhaps? The girl giggled, clearly not understanding but delighted by her father's enthusiasm. Their food arrived, synthesized proteins calibrated to Drakari metabolism. Xiphon attacked his meal with typical adolescent hunger, but Arya barely touched hers. She was calculating probabilities, running scenarios through her neural processor. The Drakari didn't believe in fate, but they did believe in opportunity, and the mathematics of chance encounters suggested this moment might be significant. The decision formed with the clarity of a crystal lattice. Arya stood, her 7-foot frame drawing immediate attention from nearby diners. She felt their stares, the mixture of fear and fascination that humans still harbored. A Drakari approaching a human table could mean many things, and old instincts died hard. "Excuse me," she said, her translator converting her thermal speech into standard English. "I couldn't help but notice your daughter seems interested in orbital mechanics." The man looked up, his expression carefully neutral. Arya respected that. Caution without hostility. His daughter peered around him, eyes wide. Yes. We're actually going to see the Homan transfer exhibit tomorrow at the museum." He seemed to make a decision. "I'm Oscar. This is Lily. I'm Arya. That's my son Xiphon." She gestured to her table, where Xiphon watched with obvious curiosity. "I'm a quantum drive engineer. I work on the Alcubierre modules that power the station's position-keeping thrusters." Oscar's eyes lit up with genuine interest. "Really? I'm a xenobiologist. I study the methane-based life in Kepler's upper atmosphere." What Arya did next would be discussed in the station's gossip channels for weeks. She pulled out a chair, not at Oscar's table, but positioning it between his table and hers. Then she called Xiphon over. "Bring your chair, little flame." Within minutes, both families were seated together, the table arrangement awkward but functional. Lily stared at Xiphon with unfiltered wonder. "Can you really breathe fire?" she asked. Xiphon looked to his mother for permission. At her nod, he produced a small flame in his palm, carefully controlled. Lily clapped in delight. Oscar watched the interaction with something like hope dawning in his expression. "Lily lost her mother last year, reactor accident on the mining colony." "Xiphon's father died in the war," Arya replied quietly. "Skirmish near the Kuiper Belt. 5 years ago." The understanding that passed between them needed no translation. They talked for hours. Oscar explained his research, the discovery of complex hydrocarbon chains that suggested genuine consciousness in the gas giant's living clouds. Arya described the beautiful mathematics of warping space-time, making it accessible even to Lily's 6-year-old understanding. The children, initially shy, were soon comparing their favorite zero-gravity games. As the restaurant prepared to close, Oscar stood hesitating. "Would you, both of you, like to join us at the museum tomorrow? Lily would love to show Xiphon the exhibits, and I'd like to continue our conversation." Arya's thermal regulators failed entirely, a small wisp of smoke escaping despite her best efforts. "We would like that very much." Walking back through the marketplace, Xiphon's claws clicked against the deck plating. "Mother, is Lily my friend now?" "I believe so, little flame." "And is Oscar your friend?" Arya's smile was genuine, warm enough to raise the ambient temperature by 1/2 degree. "Perhaps something more, eventually. But friendship is where all good things begin." Above them, the station rotated, bringing another cycle of artificial day. The war was over. The future was uncertain. But in that uncertainty, Arya had found something she thought she'd lost, the courage to reach across the divide and build something new. It was, indeed, unbelievable. And it was only the beginning.